Well, if you didn't know better, you'd think maybe it was April around here, because we've already have daffodils blooming and stuff like that there. And when we have daffodils in March, that generally means it was in fact an early spring, regardless of what the calendar says. But this is March, Marvin Gardens March, and here's one of the biggest differences since last time. The compost / manure area has been virtually emptied. And in fact, only a little bit was left over to begin this season's pile. And so what we have here in bed 1 is a lot cleaner looking bed 1 than it was the last time, because we pulled a bunch of the weeds and then put down the a few inches layer of compost, which is what we really want to do. Now, while we're here, we are once again plagued with lots and lots and lots of standing water out here. Just 2 days ago there was nothing there, but that shows you how saturated the ground is. One good rainstorm and that's it. We're filled up again. This guy is still in need of repair and preparation, but I did get a nice layer of compost down in there too, and decided we're growing pumpkins in there this year. I think I mentioned that before. So here's bed 2, and you can see that it's clear and got a nice layer of compost. And the compost we actually just plant right in that, and the idea is each year to get down a few inches, specifically 3 if you're counting, and that load that I had seemed to be enough. So now I know if I get a couple of trailers full at least, I'm usually in pretty good shape. Now the only downside to doing this is being demonstrated by little Cassie there, and that's that they find things that they think are worth munching on, and usually they're harmless. That looks like just an old stump of a cauliflower or cabbage, but they tend to sniff that stuff out. Every once in a while we get a puppy with an upset tummy, and that's no fun. Anyway, last time we were seeing the garlic coming up. It's still coming up, and this is even after we pretty much covered it all with the compost / manure mulch, whatever you want to call it. But it's all coming up now, and it pushed through again, and it's growing pretty quickly. But that's definitely the first sign of life in the garden. And out there, I don't know if you can see it, but I did put layers of compost also right down the rows, just the middle of the rows where the asparagus is going to be coming up, and we'll be watching for those stalks, because asparagus typically is the first harvest of the year, because they're perennials and they come up pretty early. It is an absolute gorgeous afternoon here. This morning I was out in my wearing my winter coat and into the afternoon, it's still, I needed that when I came out to take the dogs out and stuff like that. But all of a sudden, the wind started coming up from the south, and as they predicted, we are literally in the 70s now, and really feeling like spring. And well, golly, I bet you in the greenhouse it's probably, the greenhouse doesn't look much different. Let's check the temperature in there. Okay, that says 76.6, and it's probably on its way up because the sun just came out. I think less than an hour ago, actually. Other than that, we still got a heavy crop of grass growing in here, and we have yet to get everything situated and stuff like that, or getting any plants out here. But speaking of getting plants out here, we have been doing some planting, and so let's just go inside for a couple of minutes here, and we'll let Gardener Marv on the inside show you what's going on in there, and then we'll be right back. Yeah, so inside, March is when we start planting, and we start off with brassicas, and they only take 2 or 3 days before they show up, and that's pretty nice, because the first thing you're starting, you don't want to wait for a long time for things to come up. Under here is and I don't know if you can see a little grass-like things starting to come up. Those are scallions, or bunching onions. So it's good to see them coming up. This is a planting of 2 types of pond iris. I don't know how long it takes them to come up. And then down here we got some more brassicas, and in the back there the lettuce, which hasn't come up. So that's the exciting news here inside. So I'll let you go back outside. So yeah, that's what's happening inside. Brassicas, they come up in a hurry. And we'll wait for them to get a little bit bigger, and then they'll go out to the come out to the greenhouse and grow a little bit more before we put them in the open garden. But they don't even mind really cold temperatures, or at least temperatures that go down below freezing. They're very tolerant of that. Oh, hello! The French ballerina just got home, and looks like she's getting ready to do some planting of her own. There we go. Yep, she got some paper whites for Christmas. They've long since bloomed, so she's going to find a place to plant them out here. What about this temperature, huh?
I love it. It's incredible.
Even it's making jolie pant. Little fuzzball.
75.
Is it? Yeah, 75. All right. So that's really, there's not much more to show you out here. We'll take a look at the pond, but the pond is definitely not looking like it's well, should I say, it's not looking its best. But it is, you can see, I think, the greening that is starting to happen with all the fancy moss succulents there. There's a frog right now. Now let me see how close I can get to him before he jumps away. But they are really driven by temperature, and as soon as it got above 60, they were out. Oh, there's two more. Right down there. Let's see if I can get them guys. Anyway, I think you can see them both. I don't see any really big guys, but oh, there's another little one down there. They seem to be fairly brave. In other words, they're not all jumping in the moment that I walk past, which is usually what happens, especially with the bullfrogs. But anyway, you can see that the water's kind of murky, and you can see the koi down there. It's got to be warm for a few days before they start getting hungry again. But daffodils are sprouting all over the place. And out front they're actually blooming. In fact, we brought some daffodils and pussy willows inside already, and that usually doesn't happen till April, like I said. But this is March, and it's absolutely a lovely March day. Oh, and this is also a special day in that it is the first full day of spring, which arrived last night at 11:49 p.m. Hi, Cassie. What's going on? Well, the other thing we got showing here is the garlic chives, or I forget what it's called. Asian leeks. And that's what all these green shoots are there that don't look like grass. The stuff that looks like grass is unfortunately grass, which I have to get out of there. And we're going to transplant at least one of the rosemary plants that have been overwintering inside out there too, to be in the official what you call it? Spices bed. Herb garden. That's what I was trying to think of. It's so strange when the words escape you. But that's about it. We're all trying to, as I know you are, keep our sanity about us with the coronavirus fiasco. But there's none out here in the garden, that's for sure. We currently have, I think, 8 confirmed cases in this county, in New Jersey. But I'm afraid that we have a couple of months to go before we, with luck, get over the hump anyway. But that's going to do it. As Cassie snacks on some other delicious find, and Frankie's around here someplace. Oh, there he is. He's enjoying himself out here, sniffing around. And that's going to do it. I guess our biggest decision from this point going forward is whether or not we have a fire pit outside, because, well, it's kind of windy for that. And there, this is a very short respite from the cold and from more violent weather, because they're predicting the possibility of violent thunderstorms and even tornadoes. Unlikely, but they've got it in the forecasts as probables. You probably can't see very well, but I might be able to digitally zoom in a little bit. That's where most of our blooming daffodils are right now. Like I say, that's going to do it. It is March 2020. We gave up on snow and winter a long time ago. Although they're actually predicting some in a couple of days, but not very much. I'll believe it when I see it, actually. But this is Marvin Gardens, March 2020, and we'll see you next month in April when things really start to get going around here. At least they start getting warm and we start mowing and everything like that. So we'll see you then. Hope you're having a good spring so far. It's only one day old, but hope you're enjoying it and not going too crazy.